Hello and welcome to Redirect Yourself. I really hope that you are a returning viewer, and if so, welcome back. I'm so glad that you're here, and if not, welcome. I'm so glad you found us. Please feel free to subscribe and like the video if you like it. Also, if you know anyone else who might like the video, go ahead and give it a share. My name is Donna, and I am a therapist by trade, and I started this YouTube channel to disseminate some tools that we can all use in the very moment that we hear them. We can start to practice them, and hopefully as a result of doing that, we can feel more centered, more grounded, more emotionally in control, and as a result, our lives will be happier, and the people around us will feel like we have more enhanced, connected relationships. Ultimately, if we can all do this for ourselves, the world would just be a little bit better place to live, don't you think? Anyway, let's get started in today's video. Today we're going to talk about anger and anger management. So, if you've watched any of my other videos, I will make references to some of those. Unfortunately, I'm not very techie, guys, so I don't link videos. I don't know how to do that, and I would love to be able to attach handouts, but I just don't know how. So at some point I might end up doing that, but I'm just going to tell you that you can go back and look at other videos that will be about some of the things I might mention, such as the hula hoop. I mention it in quite a few videos. What the clinical terminology for that is an internal locus of control. And I make reference to it occasionally. So at any rate, today, talking about anger, what I want to talk about is the fact that our emotions come from our thoughts. I did discuss that in a previous video, so if you want to know more about that, please feel free to go ahead and watch it. And that in any given situation or scenario, we've only got control over ourselves. So our feelings come from our thoughts, and at any given time, the only thing we actually have direct control to make change happen is ourselves. So with that being said, then let's talk about anger and getting angry. Anger only gets caused by one thing. Universally, among all human beings, there is really only one reason for anger. And I know that sounds awfully simple, but the truth is, it is. And that's that we're not getting our way. So when you get angry, the next time you feel like you are starting to get irritated, this includes mild frustration, irritation, anger, rage, any of the surrounding feelings that are about anger. The idea is we aren't getting our way, whether that's the way someone is speaking, the way someone's doing something, that we didn't get the right order, or even something as serious as like slavery, right? They didn't want to be treated as if they were not real human beings, and they didn't want to be made to do hard labor by other people. Now, with that being said, it's very simple. When we get angry, it's that we're not getting our way. That right there helps me manage my anger, I know, because it sounds so childish, right? That's not to say that there aren't valid reasons to get angry. Many of the recent movements, like the Me Too movement and the Black Lives Matter movements, these movements were born of anger, and anger that required decisive action in order to produce change. And we've seen that throughout the history in America, as well as some other countries as well. So most change is instigated by anger, to some degree or other. Now, outside of this idea, and that it might help you a little bit to mitigate your responses when you're angry by reminding yourself that you're simply not getting your way. It isn't the end of the world. And oftentimes, the other part of that, which might make something go from mildly frustrating or irritating to highly angry or rageful, would be if you add in the element of powerlessness. So, say road rage, for instance. We call it rage, which means it's a high level of anger. That happens, right, because the other drivers aren't driving the way that we want them to. Let's be real, right? Which is quite a silly reason to get angry in the first place, because of course they're not driving the way you want them to. They're driving the way they wanted to, just the way you are, right? So at any rate, we get upset that they're not driving the way that we want. We might even be blaming them for different traffic issues or the buildup of traffic or us not getting where we want to go or other myriad reasons that we're upset with the other drivers. It's really silly, though, right? Because we don't have any control over there. In our hula hoop, all we can really control is our driving. And if someone is driving so erratically or so, messed up that they seem to be impaired, then it's our civic duty, I suppose, to call the police about their driving, because they would be a danger and a hazard to other drivers. If it's simply because they're not going as fast as we would like, or they didn't go as quickly when the light turned that we would want, then obviously we're not getting our way. So then, when we begin to attempt to change the situation by directing the other driver what to do, go faster, hurry up, get out of my lane, those types of things, we're powerless to make that happen. It's not in our hula hoop, and those other drivers have absolutely no reason to listen to us. Why do we get to decide how someone else needs to drive? What makes us that important? I mean, there are rules of the road, and there are punishments when we don't follow those rules. And unless you are a police officer, it's not your job to enforce them. You may simply move around them. Furthermore, right, at any given situation that we feel angry about, we can ask ourselves how much of this is in my control to change. And if it is directly in our control to change in that very moment, let's do that. Let's change it, right? So then, in road rage, the idea that we are already upset because we are not getting our way, we add to that the idea that we are attempting to make a change in someone else's hula hoop, and that creates a feeling of powerlessness. So now we've got anger and powerlessness on top of it, which often might happen also in relationships. For instance, if there's a power differential with children and their parents, and this might even be adult children and their parents, a situation where someone is, somehow financially constrained or bound to someone else could also create these types of issues. But I want to talk a little more about anger in another video. I realized I hadn't touched on this specifically, and clearly, there's a lot of anger management programs, lots of different anger management classes, and of course, lots of different things you can do. This is just one little tip to help you take it down a notch. The next time you're feeling really frustrated, aggravated, irritated, angry, or rageful, my suggestion is you ask yourself, wow, okay, is this really something that I need to be angry about? Is my anger going to do anything to make this change happen? And if not, you might consider ways that you can make the change happen. And if you can do something right in the moment, go ahead and do it. Anyway, this is almost 8 minutes, guys, so I hope this helps you just a little. Go ahead and field test it. Next time you get angry, ask yourself, why am I angry here? Isn't it something to do with not getting your way? Anyway, leave a comment down below if you'd like some different content that you haven't yet seen on my channel. I am open to ideas, and I hope that this video helped you. I am so glad you found us, and I'll be making another video soon, so I'll see you then.